Our good friend Carolyn Harley, part of our folk music community here in Alberta, has her 7th release out. It's called Heartbeat of the World. I caught up with her last week. She considers herself a late bloomer, and in retirement she's now put together these latest recordings to share with the world, and we're very fortunate for that. Carolyn Harley on Folk Roots in Music and Conversation.
One by one, around the sun, we are marching to a drum. Can you feel the heartbeat of the world? 2 by 2, we'll see it through. I am marching with you. Can you feel the heartbeat of the world? Hear the sound all around, a message in the air. Feel the rhythm of the heartbeat of the world. 4 by 4, and then a score, from a whisper to a roar. Can you feel the heartbeat of the world? A million, so many million voices of the men and the women and children of the world. Hear the sound all around, a message in the air. Feel the rhythm of the heartbeat of the world. Marching to the heartbeat of the world. Here we come, this planet is our drum. We are marching to the heartbeat of the world. We are marching to the heartbeat of the world.
Calgary's own Carolyn Harley is my guest this morning on Folk Roots in Music and Conversation, latest recording, Heartbeat of the World. Carolyn, this new album, it sounds like, one, you're giving a message out to the universe, but you're also talking to yourself.
Yes. I've always found music to be therapeutic for myself. I've done a lot of soul-searching and healing using music, and so I obviously turned to my music when the pandemic hit as a source of comfort. So that's how the songs were born, actually.
Did you push against yourself during this? Did you have to come out of what many people have experienced as a depression, oh, woe was me?
I just was constantly aware of the potential for that downward slide. I just had that sense that was definitely on the horizon as a potential for me. And I just kept working on trying to find ways to stay positive. I started off doing a lot of cooking, not baking, because that's a dangerous occupation in COVID. Then I was in my garden, and several of the songs were actually born just from that sense of connection to rebirth in the garden, and that seasons things come around, and this too shall pass.
Now, we started off the program this morning with Heartbeat of the World. It sounds like your folk social consciousness was risen there.
Definitely. Just like the rest of the world, I was horrified at the death of George Floyd. And I just had a sense, I just wanted to have an expression of that growing momentum that started, and how each individual could be part of that growing momentum, and that sense of a real need to have our voices heard in some small way, or just by connecting, like you said earlier, the connecting with others to have our voices heard.
Now, one of the things that I found interesting is that I played a singing in the choir a few weeks back on Folk Roots, and so many people responded to that because everybody's reaching out for that connection. Where did that song come from?
Singing in the choir is a funny story, actually. So last summer on Father's Day was during the COVID, and we were having a family gathering, and I was making strawberry shortcake. So you just never know as a songwriter where an idea will come from.
Now, wait a minute. That's baking. That is baking.
Yes. No, this is just the strawberries.
Okay.
So I'm slicing the green off of the ends of the strawberries and laying them out in a row, and there's a circle with little, almost like green hair. And when I'm done, I look at it, I said, that looks like a choir. That looks like a strawberry choir. And so I take a photograph, I send it to Joe. He puts eyes on all the little circles, and I make an Instagram post that says, singing in the choir. And then I just had this sense of the wonder of singing with your voice, the shared voices all around you. And that's how the song was born. And so many people have been involved in choirs and love that sense of singing with voices around, and we do miss it. So I think that's probably why you got such a reaction to it, because we are all missing that ability to sing and share our voices in the same room.
Carolyn Harley is my guest here on Folk Roots this morning. Heartbeat of the World is her latest recording, and singing in the choir. Line up the strawberries on Folk Roots.
Eyes front.
You might sing high, you might sing low. We need you singing in the choir. You might sing fast, you might sing slow. We need you singing in the choir. You might sing sharp, you might sing flat. We don't care one thing about that. Please don't leave, come on back. We need you singing in the choir. All together now, 1, 2, 3, everybody sing along. All together now, 1, 2, 3, feel the power of the song. As our voices blend together, hope keeps rising higher. We're all on the same page, singing in the choir. We might sing good, we might sing bad. We keep on singing in the choir. We forget all the blues we had when we're singing in the choir. We might sing big, we might sing small. It doesn't matter one bit at all. Everyone is standing tall when we're singing in the choir. All together now, 1, 2, 3, everybody sing along. All together now, 1, 2, 3, feel the power of the song. As our voices blend together, hope keeps rising higher. We're all on the same page, singing in the choir. Many voices fill the air, many melodies are sung. Inside the circle of the song, we are one. All together now, 1, 2, 3, everybody sing along. All together now, 1, 2, 3, feel the power of the song. As our voices blend together, hope keeps rising higher. We're all on the same page, singing in a choir. As our voices blend together, hope keeps rising higher. We're all on the same page, singing in the choir. We're all on the same page, singing in the choir.
Now, you mentioned Joe, your husband. Now, I have to ask about the inspirational moments that you both have. He is a wonderful photographer of wildlife, and I can only recommend, and I will post on Folkroot's Facebook page where you can capture a lot of his pictures. Tell me what he says about your process of writing songs. Is that a private process, or are you often off in another place in the house with ideas, or do you just run off with little notes?
Combination of all of that. I do catch interesting phrases, or I catch interesting ideas anywhere and everywhere, and I write them down as songwriters do. And but I often bounce ideas off of Joe, or it'll be something even that Joe has said.
You get writing credits?
I know, he's always asking for it. He says he's my muse, that I just say he's just amusing. So, yeah, no, he's been my rock. He has been such a support, and I know anybody that has a passion for something, you need to have that sense of connection. We keep coming back to that word, but that sense of connection to somebody who just believes in what you're doing and supports whatever crazy idea. So when I had the idea for the Late Bloomers show, the Facebook Live, he was my technical person. So now the last couple of shows, here he is on the show with playing bass with me. He's definitely a big part of my creative process.
And another part of your creative process, of course, is Aaron Young. And it was a Facebook posting about What Is My Guitar, which turned out to be a Stella guitar that got the conversation moving, where you and he worked in the studio on these 10 songs. What was it that brought you two together during these pandemic times to create this wonderful recording?
Well, I've known Aaron for a long time. I met him through my youngest son, Tim, and they were both in a wonderful band out of Calgary called Barrage, and it was an amazing fiddle group, and Aaron was in that, and that's how I met him. And I've actually worked with Aaron on some other projects. My Famous Five CD was produced by him, and some other kind of jazzy tunes. I do have a tendency to write all over the map. So when I asked what kind of guitar am I holding when I was just a young woman back in BC, he's the one that answered. And he had a guitar for sale. And in the course of that transaction, I discovered that he had a 2-room home studio that felt very safe to go and record in. And I love his work. He's an amazing musician and arranger. It just felt like the universe aligned for this CD to happen.
When I listen to your music on this recording, it's very acoustically simple. It is the song without a lot of flourishes or embellishes around it. So it reminds me of the early 60s. Were there people in that folk movement, whether in Canada or the United States, that really came out and influenced you, that you still hold true to the songwriting today?
I had an interesting thing happen, and someone likened my voice to Mary Travers.
Oh.
And, of course, yes, and I was thrilled to hear that because, of course, Peter, Paul, and Mary were a great influence to me. And back in my younger days, in my teens and early 20s, we used to sit around campfires with guitars and have hootenannies. That's such a part of my growing up. And those simple, singable songs that had a clear message was the kind of writing and the kind of songs that spoke to me then. And that's how I have a tendency to write today.
Is there a subtext from that early days for your song, Dreams of Freedom?
I'm a birdwatcher, and I've been doing that for 25 years or more. And I just do love watching, especially on a really brisk, windy day, the birds just riding in the breezes. And so that was the inspiration for that song, was just how we feel we're grounded. like our parents would say back in the day, you're grounded. You're not going anywhere. No parties for you. You're not getting to see your friends. You're grounded. So it was that sense of just dreaming of having the freedom of a bird to just sail wherever you want.
I've been dreaming, I'm flying, wide open skies, sweet dreams of freedom, the world spinning by. I'm soaring and diving, free as a dove. Yesterday below me, tomorrow high above. And I'm riding the wind anywhere I please. Sweet dreams of freedom, my only guide. I'm dreaming, I'm flying, wide open skies. Troubles of the world disappear from sight. Sweet dreams of freedom guide me on my flight. And I'm riding the wind anywhere I please, high above the clouds, free as the breeze. Sweet dreams of freedom, my only guide. I'm dreaming, I'm flying, wide open skies. I'm dreaming, I'm flying, wide open skies. Sweet dreams of freedom, sweet dreams of freedom, sweet dreams of freedom, wide open skies, wide open skies.
Carolyn Harley is my guest this morning on Folk Roots. It's never too late to bloom is a motto that she carries with her. Carolyn, where can we hear you perform?
Well, you can hear me if you want to come for a 1-hour all-original show on Facebook Live. That's at Carolyn Harley Music, Tuesday morning. Then I have my website, carolynharley.com, and I have my songs there. And I've also set up on Bandcamp. It's a learning curve for me to be releasing songs in this time when you can't be doing concerts and selling your CDs in person. So it's a whole new world.
Do you find it freeing to be an artist, to experiment, to explore? I think obviously the answer would be yes, but what is the process that when the song is completed, that you hear that song and you go, I made it?
Right. Well, over the years I have studied songwriting. I have taken so many workshops from so many wonderful writers that I just have this little toolbox of ideas that I use. And one of them was John Capak, I believe. And he talked about the cringe factor. And he talked about every line that goes by and every note that you write, that if there's the slightest little cringe, then you need to pay attention. And so you, somehow or another, when you can sing through every line and you don't have that internal cringe, then you say, okay, I think it's to the best that I can do right now. You might, in fact, get an insight from someone that you can then look at the song again, and then maybe there's something that you've missed, and you can still develop it further. But that's my basic process, is just when I feel like I've eliminated all the cringe factors.
I think this is a wonderful Touch the Earth folk acoustic album, right for our time, coming right out of a place of avoiding the pandemic as much as possible by sharing the music My guest this morning on Folk Roots is Carolyn Harley, and you can go online to Folk Roots Facebook page, and I'll be posting some more information on her so that you can catch up with her music. Heartbeat of the World is her latest recording. Carolyn, thank you very much. Can you tell us a little bit about The Web as we play you out?
Oh, The Web. That was a song that actually, I did some listening parties, and there were several people that said, Carolyn, don't put that song on the CD.
Oh, no. Really?
They said all the other songs are so beautiful and hopeful, and this one is scary. This makes me uncomfortable. But in my heart, I felt folk music is about taking you to that place where maybe you do feel a little uncomfortable. And so The Web, as a photographer, I went out to take a picture of a beautiful flower, and hiding in the flower was this spider. And it reminded me of "Come into my parlor," said the spider to the fly. And I made an Instagram post that said, it doesn't matter how beautiful the parlor may seem, it is still the domain of the spider. And so The Web is about all these conspiracy theories and all the influences that we have around us for negativity, and how we just have to be aware of that and conscious of that and watching that we're not being caught up in that web.
The wagging finger of the folk musician.
But that's where that one came from. And other people said, no, you should put it on there. It needs to be there. So it is, in fact, on the CD.
I thank you very much for venturing forward, both to help yourself, but to help the people that are listening to this wonderful music and sharing the folk thoughts with all of us. Carolyn, thank you very much. Carolyn Harley on Folk Roots this morning.
Thank you.
Come in. Come in. I see you there in your ivory tower, begging me to come in. Calling, calling, hour by hour, using your web to spin a story woven with malice and lies, a purpose evil as sin. You twist the truth and deceive a spider wearing a grin. Come in, come in. Spinning, spinning a web of lies, enticing me to agree. The poison you're storing is not meant for me. Believe, believe, believe. If I believe you love me, if I believe you care, if I place my life in your hands, what will I find there? I see you there in your ivory tower, begging me to come in. Calling, calling, hour by hour, using your web to spin a story woven with malice and lies, a purpose evil as sin. You twist the truth and deceive a spider wearing a grin. A spider wearing a grin. Come in, come in, come in.
Carolyn Harley on Folk Roots this morning in Music and Conversation. Her latest recording is called Heartbeat of the World. So good to hear social commentary in song on Folk Roots.